Good, gray, array. Liaised mind may be game to play today. Good, gray, array. All minds liaised in the imagination of democracy. Every structure houses part of the mind of democracy. Did you sleep there? Then the mindness has extended thus. Welcome. It is the mystery font. Good gray array. We are experiencing massive distortions in the field of reality. Included amongst this, an incoming Nazi patriarchal terrorist occupation. And you don't tell someone you have respect or regard or see humanity in. And say, I'll keep you in suspense. When someone asks, will you obey the rules? Will you adhere to boundaries? It's all about consent. And as these ridiculous Ku Klux Klan cucks of intolerance attempt to enslave women and thus children and thus lives and turn libraries in disguise into detention centers and we're making lies. We are submitting to the idea that lies are smart, unless there's a new start, unless we listen to our intuition that may tell more than one of us it is absolutely wrong in a time of incredible peril to callously make a wry crack that a scuffle between admittedly powerful people amounts to a civil war. That's abominable. Just like telling a nation, I'll keep you in suspense. Will you obey the rules? Will you adhere to the terms of office, to the terms of service? I won't tell you now. I'll tell you at the time. I'm not going to tell you now. I'll keep you in suspense. I'm not going to tell you now. I'm really thinking of the future. I really have my mind on the future. I'll keep you in suspense. I'll tell you if I'll follow the rules if I win, if I feel like it. I have proof, Giuliani and Trump say, and never show it. That's called defiling everyone who trusted them, not to mention everyone who didn't. You don't degrade and defile and groom for the right to lie without protest unless that's what you want to manufacture. And you manufacture that in part by openly saying, I'd like my country's people to obey me like they do in North Korea. reality distortions are more difficult to deal with in trauma. And we have been in collective trauma since before COVID, but COVID was escalation. It wasn't, however, the first. The great escalator, the infamous golden escalator. Oh my God, it can't get worse. Yes. Escalations unrehearsed, escalations in reverse, escalations in the purse that he took because he declassified it. He has the purse, see? And he'll keep us in suspense, like the Sudetenland. We have not learned how to say no. And we have submitted, and that is reversible. That is fixable, if maybe only if we become the presidents again, if we take some amount of presidency to pay attention. Because to preside is to watch over the proceedings, is to be the one who watches over the meeting. And he serves at our pleasure. And if he ever wants to forget it, we have from now to forever. We can outrun his need to outrun accountability, and we will do better if we identify the person trying to make us prey. It's just easier and better that way. Trump and M keep it simple. They use direct projections of their attacks because the truth is easier to remember than a lie. And so a reversal of the truth is easier to map back and trace with little improvisational labor. Do you remember is sending us rapists? Yes. Yes. He was. Yes, he is. He did not come down the escalator. He started us up it. And I don't remember, other than knowing that he has referred to that moment as the escalator scene, which, by the way, it's not a movie. I don't remember the scene where we stopped going up. It happens every time there's a new shocking boundary violation. We are in an abusive relationship. You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned
the falsehood? Who is the falsehood?
Sets the fear of separation. 6, the fear of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic.
You have been warning at rallies recently that this election is rigged and that Hillary Clinton is in the process of trying to steal it from you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing. The New York Times actually wrote an article about it that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But, sir, there's
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places. Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote. So let me just give you one other thing. So I talk about the corrupt media. I talk about the millions of people. Tell you one other thing. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime. She should not be allowed to run. And just in that respect, I say it's rigged, because she should never, Chris, she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
But, sir, there is a tradition in this country. In fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner, not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris, let me respond to that, because that's horrifying.
The prize of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner, not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris, let me respond to that, because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against
Mystery font, Minneapolis, Minnesota. At the intersection of free humanity and the meaning of life, it is the mystery font. Good golly upon it. In fact, there's a song I want to sing to you, Ryan Wlalters. It's only the first time I'm singing it, I think really directly to you. And it has to do with Ryan Wlalters' campaign of patriarchal terrorism and racism and absolute bigotry, allegiant with the Ku Klux Klan and Nazis. It is crime, and working with projections of the type that M and Donald Trump both like to do. It is that kind of gaslight, that kind of reversal. I could shoot somebody in the street and not lose somebody. These shocking boundary violations blitz us, and traumatic brain injury from an abusive relationship may even be compounded if we are all sharing an individual, collective, abusive relationship. We are in danger because we didn't say no, and we haven't said no, or we have been disabled from doing so. And people who actually had the job of doing so failed. And because a constitution shouldn't have to write everything down. It shouldn't have to say the name and social security number of the Secret Service agent who can form the words, "No. The presidency is threatened, and I will stop you as the president because you threatened the presidency." And that is an incredibly grave act. But just like properly vetting someone to run, like on all kinds of levels, there were so many corrupt payoffs, and more so, I think, people just terrified of the caustic energy of absolute predation that wears a disguise and is ready to unleash, does unmask and unleash at reasonable questions, and scream at them. Scream at the reasonable person doing their job, "You are a terrible person." He makes it an obliteration to confront him. It has never been otherwise. And it is always within a constant mounting spiral escalator up staircase. It's like we're a slinky rolling over and over itself. I'm not sure that we know which way is up. And at some points, it feels like the inevitability of a slinky falling down the stairs explains this crash up escalation, because in fact we are going down, but we are so swallowed within this slinky that we are flummoxed by hokum for calibration. And our fabric to know one another as a civic body, let alone our own bodies, let alone our own minds, because abusive relationships yield TBIs, because this man doesn't stop, and we have to stop him and stop considering ourselves only victims, for we are, but it's also our job to stop insanely crisised people out of the street with weapons when they're a danger to themselves and others. We do have to take responsibility for the monster that we allowed to be. We have to take responsibility, thus, for Elon Musk and for Ryan Wlalters. We have to take responsibility for people who are breaking human contract, for the Nazis in South Carolina threatening to execute women, for breathing a little funny and admitting, well, I went bowling a few weeks ago, actually, or, you know, can I learn about contraception? We are seeing Handmaid's Tale and worse. We are seeing enslavement. And Kevin Roberts and Brian Wlalters and Marjorie Taylor Greene are complicit in an attack on America. They are finishing the insurrection. And they are escalating with Russ Vought and Peter Thiel, with these Theo bros going for trillionaire, unreachable. It is absolute crime. And it's based upon the falsehood. Ryan may not be educated well enough at all to understand. Maybe Ryan has been abused since a child and has only passed that on as the generational trauma goes. But it's very easy from a nexus like here at the Mystery Font. I don't know how I found this, except that when I looked, it was here, and there are portals in the windows. And I thought, does Mr. Rogers know about this place? And then this happened. I looked because I thought I heard water. And there's not what I would call brand-wise, say, or band-wise, a land make-believe, but there is a bandwidth of meaning. And in the bandwidth of meaning, the fontedness does animate. And I saw this coming. This is just an introduction, Ryan. There's more, but it's just that the new Colossus is woke. And as you know, that's only a bad thing for evil. You will be stopped, boy. The Ku Klux Klan is coming closer on its iceberg, its large white tooth of hot as hate, white fire heat. We've seen the iceberg tooth coming. You told us, and then you told us no. But you know something? Snow melts. You have been gaslighting us for decades, nay centuries. You refuse to have the conversation and stall it in violence and in crocodile tears. You're afraid of confrontation. You're afraid, actually, of having a conversation of conscience, because that's where Christ actually would speak. But you are not of Christ. You are a Christian nationalist, so you have broken from patriotism and you have broken far deeper rupture from Christ. You are an opposite. You are an antichrist figure. For Christian nationalists are simply Nazis. And the bad ship, Manifest Destiny, is being piloted by the falsehood. And we see you. And you will be stopped. You will be stopped because we still have dictionaries and memory. So we remember well that indoctrination is about limiting. Some things do stand out in the bandwidth of meaning that we can see. Some things glow, and we may or may not know exactly what they are, but our intuition is not a dumb thing. We understand, and we've been learning, even amidst executive function under constant attack by those who are supposed to be chief executive and therefore in charge of a fairly important set of bicameral lobes ready to executive function. Separation from reason is the problem. Separation from reason, if not from love, but one of. What kind of lobotomy happened? Because no, you do not come here helping the children of Oklahoma. You're not here for STEM. You are here for white supremacy, and you are here to enslave little girls as sex slaves. You are here to make babies and shame and punishment. You are trying to send kids into chutes for lives that they shouldn't have to be labeled and buckled into. You are working to take us back to enslavement more deeply, and the shocking nature of the strikes against humanity that you are making. When you say DEI, we know that you are sneering the N-word. Boy. We know. Actually, I have somewhere that's actually more important than me being the one singing this to you now. So, goodbye for now. But hello. You see, separation of church and state is the first concept we're going to leave you with at the end here of lesson 1. 6, the feet of separation.
Six, the feet of separation. 6 degrees of separation. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. 6, the feet of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. You didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. You didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic. He didn't mean to cause a a panic, yet 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. The Nazis lost in World War II. As Allied radar read their crew, and what we knew was probably due. The great American wall builder said, I know what to do. I can use you. Just let it through. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Yet 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. To guard a tree and leave a stump. That's not what I call guardian. You embody a jewel trump. You're a real card, your father's son. You're a real card, your father's suit. You're a real card, your father's loot. It's not the thing you swear upon. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart will not abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's how your word becomes action. 6 the feet of separation, 6 degrees of separation.
Thus endeth the lesson.